I ain't got wings on, but I'm ready to take flight. I'm ready to take flight. Don't know where we going. I ain't got wings on, but I'm ready to take flight. I'm ready to take flight. Don't know where we going.
Some fantastic coffee. Well, Will, you told me to light it. Caught it in my elbow. Caught this motherfucker in my elbow, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, yeah. Hold on, we gotta pull that back just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Yes. We got Sigourney. What's poppin'? I'm blowing weed every day, can't you see, baby girl? I got a lot of shit on my mind. I'm moving forward, yeah, I gotta press forward. No, I can't live in the past, cause I can't rewind. Yeah, I ain't trying to crash. I've been living fast, lately I've been moving slow, trying to take my time. I ain't got that was powerful. Oh my goodness, that was powerful. Aaron, how you doing? Is your back feeling any better? You say you stuck in bed still, but are you any better than you were yesterday? Oh, and you already know we're mostly talking about George Santos today. That's mostly what we're going to be discussing. I'll just enjoy the view. I'd rather be me than you. This is some smooth shit right here. But I'll let you see the proof. Doing how stars do. But yes, we're primarily talking about George Santos today, so let's go ahead and get it. But yeah, Aaron, is your back any better today than it was yesterday? Because I already know that shit is hurting. Before we get into George Santos, because again, that's primarily what we're going to be talking about. Thank you, I appreciate it. I like the hair too. I think it turned out well. And I hate to hear that you're not better, but it is the weekend, so hopefully you don't have much to do. Hopefully you can kind of just relax and take it easy and not do much and let your body do its thing. Let your body get itself back together. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yo, Will, can you open the window a little bit? It's hot. It's a little warm, but also them hits that I just took, you know what I'm saying, just warmed up my body a little bit. All right. All right, let's see what's up. Sandra Day O'Connor, first woman on the Supreme Court, has died at 93.
Good morning, America. We have breaking news. Let's get right to it.
That's right, for our viewers in the West. Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman to serve as a justice on the U.S. Supreme Court, has passed away. The Supreme Court shared the news this morning, revealing she died of complications related to advanced dementia and a respiratory illness. Justice O'Connor was appointed to the court by former President Reagan in 1981 and retired in 2006 after more than 24 years. In a statement, Chief Justice John Roberts said, "We at the Supreme Court mourn the loss of a beloved colleague, a fiercely independent defender of the rule of law, and an eloquent advocate for civics education." Sandra Day O'Connor was 93 years old.
Good evening. If confirmed, she will be the first woman in 191 years, indeed the first woman ever, to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. Sandra Day O'Connor, a 51-year-old judge from the Arizona Court of Appeals, and the president's choice to fill the vacancy created by Justice Potter Stewart's retirement. We have a number of reports, beginning with White House correspondent Sam Donaldson.
The president had promised, as he recalled this morning when he came to the White House press room to make the announcement, that one of his first Supreme Court appointments would be a woman. But he insisted today he would not appoint a woman merely to do so. Judge O'Connor, he said, was much more than that.
She is truly a person for all seasons, possessing those unique qualities of temperament, fairness, intellectual capacity, and devotion.
1981, 11 years before I was born.
to the public good, which have characterized the 100.
I was not yet conceived. I was not yet even thought of. My mother and father had not yet met one another. Yeah, no, they hadn't met each other yet. My sister was born in 84, 85. So, yeah, that was roughly around that time.
101 brethren who have preceded her.
The president said he wouldn't answer questions, but spoke up anyway, when told some right-to-life groups are already opposing Judge O'Connor on the ground she has been pro-abortion.
I am completely satisfied.
On her right-to-life position.
Yes.
And did you interview her personally?
Yes.
You know what? That's really, this is interesting to see because, you know, the people who led the push, who funded the push, who did everything they could, dedicated their lives, right? The people who dedicated their lives to reversing Roe v. Wade were watching stuff like this happen. Because, I mean, I personally don't know that much about Sandra Day O'Connor. Like, I don't, you know, like I've never read her biography or anything like that. Like, I personally don't know much about her. But again, you know, Roe v. Wade having went down in, what was it, 72? Yeah, 1972. You know, this was 9 years after that. And ever since then, ever since it happened, again, they've been giving their all to reverse it. It's just interesting how life works because they did all that to reverse it, and look at them now. They're losing elections and they're losing the future. And a lot of it has to do with many things, but the reversal of Roe, and then even more egregious than that, all of these red states who are just determined, again, to pass all these, you know, 6-week bans, 12-week bans, stuff like that. You know, so it's like they dedicated their lives just to be losers in the end, and all the collateral damage.
The selection process went into high gear in early June when Attorney General William French Smith brought the president a list of some 20 to 25 names. One of them strongly recommended by Republican conservative elder Barry Goldwater. Senator Goldwater's choice was his fellow Arizonan, Judge O'Connor. By last Tuesday, as a leading contender, she was summoned to Washington to be interviewed by senior administration officials. The next day, they took her to see the president in the Oval Office for an hour-long discussion. Yesterday afternoon, the president made up his mind, and shortly after 6 p.m., he called Judge O'Connor to tell her she was his choice. Today, the Attorney General said Judge O'Connor fits the president's main criterion perfectly.
We're satisfied that she views the function of the judiciary to be to interpret and apply the law, not to make it.
The Attorney General did not sound so confident while trying to answer a barrage of questions about whether Judge O'Connor had voted for pro-abortion measures when she was a member of the Arizona State Senate and was once for ERA, but he did predict it wouldn't matter.
Well, having gotten into her background to a substantial degree, we're satisfied that she will have no problem.
Just interesting to look at a little bit of history. And also, too, you know, the kind of the Reagan Clinton era of politics, it's over. Not that neoliberalism is over, but just kind of the people who were there. You know, the we were there and we saw. Those people are at the end of their lives. You know, like these people are literally in their 80s, late 70s. You know, most of them aren't going to die while they're in office. Most of them are going to be retiring over the next, you know, like 5+ years. They're going to be retiring because of course they will. So we have a lot of work to do, but the good news is that we're more than capable of doing it. Now, honestly, you know, I personally, I don't know why. Excuse me. I don't really. Why did Ron DeSantis debate Gavin Newsom? Like, you know, on paper that looks great, but the reality of it isn't that great for a variety of reasons. Now we're gonna watch some recaps. I didn't watch it live. I was working on other stuff. But you know, look, there's plenty of things to criticize Gavin Newsom about. But he's good at this shit. He's good at being a politician. And Ron DeSantis is not. You know what I'm saying? Ron DeSantis is not good at it. Ron DeSantis' policies, you know, Gavin Newsom has put forth policies that have been unpopular, but not like ragingly unpopular like Ron DeSantis. You know, what Ron DeSantis is doing with migrants, outrageously unpopular. Book banning, outrageously unpopular. The war against Disney, outrageously unpopular. I mean, his war against the LGBTQ community anyway. I mean, he's not popular. Gavin Newsom has stuff, yeah, but you got to go looking for it more than you do Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis's bullshit is right there. You know what I'm saying? Right there. Excuse me. On top of the fact he has no social skills, his personality is really dry, stuff like that. Gavin Newsom, on the other hand, Ron DeSantis isn't like bad looking, but Gavin Newsom is Gavin Newsom's handsome, and more importantly than that, he's charismatic, he's confident, and he's aggressive. So like that matchup, them two on stage, like bro, like y'all aren't running against each other right now. That was he just Ron DeSantis is not good at this. Like, bro, you really did not need to do that. You really didn't. I mean, sure, if you would have been more similar to Gavin in terms of being more quick on your feet, having more charisma to you, yeah, that would have been great. Win or lose, it would have been great because it would have been like, well, at least I enjoyed watching the man. But now, you know what I'm saying? It's like he's just spiraling down, which is just fine. That's just fine. You said it was pretty weak all around. Well, that's not surprising either. But I would imagine that Gavin Newsom just overall is just gonna benefit more from it because it's Ron DeSantis is running in the primaries and he's not doing well at all. Gavin Newsom is rather popular in the country in the scheme of things. And again, like Gavin is being on stage and talking to people, it's easy for him. It's not easy for Ron DeSantis. So like if I would have been somebody in Ron's ear, I'd have been like, nah, bro, don't do that. You don't need to be on stage debating nobody unless you absolutely must. And you absolutely do not need to be on stage debating Gavin Newsom right now. But let's go ahead and get into our favorite ever. You said it reminds you of Bloomberg's campaign. How so? Like in terms of like how it's being ran, or how does it remind you of Bloomberg's? But yeah, like again, like Gavin Newsom could have just went up there and we'll look at some of the stuff, and I know some of y'all watched it. It's like Gavin Newsom could have went up there and just not done much, and he would have looked fine. Because again, he doesn't have everything going against himself like Ron DeSantis does. Now, Gavin Newsom is going to run for president in 2028, so the skeletons will come out at that point. But right now, he's cruising. He good. He said he tried to smile. He was like, no, he don't even do it like that. He'd be like, bro, your eyes got to smile too. Your eyes aren't smiling right now. You just like, he said he had all the hype. Oh yeah. In that regard, absolutely. Yeah. In that regard, 100%. For sure. Okay, so apparently there was some stunning new allegation against George Santos. The moment. Yeah, he be having on them boots. He like, nah, I just like wearing these wizard boots. They not high heels, they wizard boots. I got my wizard boots on. What is this? Hold on, I'm gonna see if it's a video. If it's a video, okay, yeah, we gonna watch the video. Is it really chaotic or not? Now, what happened? What new allegations are there against George Santos right now? In the minutes before the House voted to expel Rep. George Santos, Ohio Republican Rep. Max Miller dropped a stunning new allegation in a mass email sent to Republican colleagues. Over 100 Republicans voted, with over 200 Democrats, to expel Santos from Congress earlier today. But just before that vote took place, Miller sent out an email blast to his colleagues with a shocking allegation that Santos stole from Miller's mother. Oh. And look, that's like that's like just the perfect. Like, what are you talking about? Like, bro, I literally just saw you do it. No, you didn't. Like, we got a lot to talk about with George Santos today. He's talking about this is bullying. He said, to hell with this place. Like, bro, you out your mind for real. but you're still such a good time. All right. Colleagues, late yesterday on the floor, I alluded to a personal impact of Rep. Santos's conduct. The email began referencing the vicious House floor battle between the two on Thursday. Earlier this year, I learned that the Santos campaign had charged my personal credit card and the personal credit card of my mother for contribution amounts that exceeded FEC limits. Oh my God, man, this guy is just George Santos. Like, man, God, it's like, some people really are just sick in the head because it's like, bro, did you really think you weren't going to get caught? I mean, come on, brother. Hey, but some motherfuckers crazy for real. What are you getting? And you can't really do much with that type of crazy. You can work with crazy. There's levels of crazy that you absolutely can work with. But then, like, there's certain levels that you just can't do nothing with. And George Santos is one of those. Neither my mother nor I approve these charges or were aware of them. We have spent tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees and the resulting follow-up. Yeah, man. George Santos. George Santos is such a sneaky. Well, he's not even sneaky. I mean, he got too comfortable and then he did it all in everybody's face. Quote, I've seen a list of roughly 400 other people to whom the Santos campaign allegedly did this. 400, bruh. He stole from so many people. This dude is yeah, nah, exactly, Donald. This dude is like he that type of crazy to where it's just like, but luckily for at least from what we can tell, he doesn't seem to be a violent person. But yeah, he's just one of those guys like, oh yeah, that's George, that's Santos, that's Mr. Santy. Like if there's one thing George Santos is going to do is rob your ass. That's what he can't help himself. That's what he was born for. That's what he was made for. Made for this shit. You feel me? If there's one thing for sure and for certain is this motherfucker George Santos gonna rob your ass. So hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your credit cards. And this motherfucker George Santos comes around, put your wallet in your drawers, motherfucker. Don't put that shit in your back pocket. Put that shit up front next to your junk so that can't no pickpocket take your shit. Not even George Santos. Not even somebody on the level of expertise as George Santos. Not even he will be able to do that. But then again, let me not speak too soon. Let me not speak too soon. Exactly. He went and stole from the wrong people. He just got too comfortable, man. You can't get too comfortable with shit. Listen, man. Listen. Fast money is tempting, but if it's illegal, the clock is ticking, my friend. I understand. But yeah, nah, there's certain lines that you just can't cross. And George Santos apparently he just never learned that. Okay, now what we gonna do? Oh, we already got this. Oh, my bad. I already had this up. My bad, rather. I was looking at okay, so it looks like this Florida Republican here is upset with the expulsion of George Santos. So let's see what she has to say.
I want to go to Congresswoman Kat Cammack, who's just back from actually voting herself on the expulsion measure. And Republican Congresswoman from the great state of Florida. And I understand.
Oh, yeah, it was absolutely inevitable that he went over the edge because that goes beyond like, oh shit, I'm caught up. I need to do something real quick to get on my feet, or I'm young and I'm just trying to make it happen. The things that George Santos is just inherently who he is as a person. So like when you got it bad like that, it's always only a matter of time, you know. And when you got it like that and you're a violent person, then you probably ain't gonna live as long as George Santos did. Most people that like there's a difference between knowing how to protect yourself and like knowing how to fight and just being a person who goes around looking for trouble. Typically people like that, go to prison, but most of them end up dead. And from my experience, people who go around shooting shit up eventually get shot up themselves. So, Yeah, nah, when you're inherently just fucked up like that, you can't help yourself.
You voted against expelling George Santos. Why?
Well, good to see you, Harrison. Yes, Chad's correct. Under the Constitution, Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2, the House has the right and ability.
Yeah, this dude is like, because that's why I said he's a more egregious liar than Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump be lying, but like he's like his lies aren't the same. Like George Santos just lies about like like he'll have like I got a Capri Sun right here. You feel me? Which I'm about to sip on. He George Santos will pick up a Capri Sun and be like, look at my cup of coffee. Like he's just fucking weird. But Donald Trump's fucking weird too.
To govern members, including up into expulsion. That being said, for me, without a conviction, despite a damning ethics report, I am very concerned about setting a precedent that in the People's House, 750,000 people in New York's 3rd Congressional District would be left without representation. And so while we have so many issues to contend with in our government, I felt that it was inappropriate to deny those constituents in his congressional district their right to representation. Elections have consequences, but they have a right to have their voice heard in the people.
This is an example of being overly principled. You got to be willing to bend. Sometimes your principles, there's gray area in life. Like it's like, oh, well, no matter what, we got to leave it up to the constituency. That's why. But I don't know. But I bet she wouldn't be willing to say that Donald Trump's ass lost in 2020 because he did. But Republicans gone Republican. And two, yes, Donald James, as you said. Yeah, most other people who are in games like this, their lies are practical. Their lies make sense because they're coming from people who aren't insane. Like George Santos is insane. Like he is not here. He's somewhere. It's not even that George Santos is somewhere else. He is 50 other places a day. Like he wakes up somewhere else and then there's only 24 hours in a day, which means that this motherfucker is not staying in one place for a full hour. This dude is waking up and within 20 minutes, he is somewhere else and he is somebody else 50 times a day. You know what I'm saying? But other people like who are in high positions, they lie for more practical reasons that make sense. Like, oh, you lied. You said you were going to do this, but you did that instead. George Santos is like, oh, my grandparents died in the Holocaust. My mom, or what do you say? His mom died in 9/11. Like just dumb shit like that. Like, dude, he needs medication. And this woman right here is overly principled.
People's House.
Look, one of the things he's been very vocal about.
I'm so principled, I don't want to think about nothing. God damn it. Don't make me think. I'm just going to stick to my principles no matter what. I won't ever change or bend.
Out is supporting Israel throughout its war against the bloodthirsty terrorists of Hamas who killed innocent citizens on October 7th in Israel. That war continues, and he's been very vocal and very emotional about that issue. That's one of the voices now, as Republicans like yourself get together and try to figure out next steps for Israel from a congressional point. That's one of the voices that gets quieted.
Yes, I mean, certainly this has now become an.
You know what, Libby? I've been something that just popped in my head, like moving forward. Like I feel as though, just politically speaking, a lot of how issues, at least again, this just kind of came to me, just what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that a lot of issues for the disability community can be addressed in in the frame of infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? So whether that be things like accommodations within the public commons, but also helping people with disabilities better participate in the workforce in a variety of areas. So like kind of like it has to obviously be its own separate issue. And with healthcare, there's a million trillion specific individual things. But just when it comes to like getting shit through Congress, like it just seems like it would make sense to kind of lump that in with like economic and infrastructure packages. You know what I'm saying? From this perspective of it's like, yo, we got all these people who are completely capable of effectively competing with the rest of the world in a variety of ways, stuff like that. Because otherwise, you know, everything is just like, especially from a conservative mindset, it just seems like it's like, oh well, that's not my problem. But if it's like, oh well, yeah, we could make more money and blah blah blah, then it, you know, I don't know. It just seems like that makes sense to me, politically speaking.
Even more a bigger situation here in the House, where now our majority is down to 2, and every vote certainly counts. But for me, this was not a political vote. As I said, from a constitutional perspective, denying representation in the People's House, it is a very, very serious deal. And with the 10th Amendment, states' rights, the states have the ability to determine the time.
George Santos is just he's just not worth defending. You know, you got to save your ammo. You know, I mean, you got to save your ammo in life, period. But especially in politics, like save your ammo. And George Santos is just not somebody who's worth publicly defending whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like it's fucking George. It's fucking Mister. Making my way downtown. Look, I mean, you know what? He gonna crazy his way out of every situation he in. He gonna go to prison. He ain't gonna be there for the rest of his life. I would highly doubt that, but he gonna go. He probably gonna be a celebrity in prison, and he gonna come out and he gonna be a celebrity. You know, maybe, but again, George Santos's problem is that he can't stop frauding. He can't stop conning motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So, um, okay, so basically, Libby, you're saying that like that approach was already taken, but the results were hollow. Therefore, pushing it like that again may not sell as well as I initially was saying, which would make sense. Is that what you're saying? If that is what you're saying, that would make sense. But again, it was just something that kind of like popped into my head, and I wanted to ask you what you thought about it. Um, but yeah. Hollow agencies are, and then too, sometimes agencies do work, but then depending on who's running the government, you know. So, all right, we are not finished with George Santos. Hold on, we got a bunch of random stuff, so I'm just gonna pull it up. Also, I'm gonna be on the power panel this evening. I'm gonna be on the power panel this evening on TYT on the first hour. George Santos runs from reporters after historic expulsion from Congress.
This would set. That's why you saw every single member of House leadership, including the new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, reject this push to expel Congressman George Santos. But this is effective immediately. As of right now, Congressman George Santos is no longer a member of Congress, Terry.
It really is a remarkable moment and a precedent, as you say. But for practice,
oh yeah, man, George Santos is good. You know, he gonna have to be in prison for a couple of years, but you know, a man like George Santos, he'll figure it out, man. He'll be good. He gonna be a celebrity in that motherfucker, man. He gonna be one of them people who just got a million stories to tell, and you ain't got shit to do in prison. So as long as he don't owe people a bunch of money and stuff like that, he should be cool. Just entertain people. Feel me? And then when he gets out of prison, he do the same shit. He'll be all right.
Practical purposes now, the House Republican majority has been narrowed in the House of Representatives, already very slim. It's now 221 to 213. What happens next now that the 3rd district, a congressional district of New York, doesn't have a member of Congress? What happens next?
Yes, and Terry, Republicans were worried about losing a lot of their majority here, too. They went from a 4-seat edge now to a 3-seat edge. That is going to make things more complicated.
He was like, "Skirt, let me get up out of here real quick." Okay, hold up. Okay, I don't even. We just gonna look at this. I right clicked it and opened it up in a new tab. All right, let's see. Hold up. Apparently, the Senate erupted into quote unquote chaos. We gonna see if it actually did. Okay, Libby, hold on. You said that's what you're saying. Okay. Well, that's why I love this community so much. That's why I fuck with it, and that's why I'm doing what I got to do so that in 2024 we really can continue to grow. Because I'm a youngster with a lot of y'all. You feel me? So I learn so much from y'all constantly, whether it be stuff that you send me or if you just correct me in my errors or whatever it is. I think y'all know by now I'm generally pretty open to learning. Like I'm not one of those people who's like, no, I'm always right. I'm never like that's not how I do shit. So I appreciate y'all. All right. So let's see what happened on the Senate floor.
Before moving to the subpoena authorization, we consider the nominees. First is
It's time for my nap. And Lindsey Graham like, oh, I'm time for my goddamn nap.
Judge Mustafa Kashubai, nominated to the
Everybody in there old as hell.
Oregon. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, are we going to have an opportunity to speak on the
Yes, we're going to. Oh, I'm sorry. We already had done that at great length.
Well, I think this deserves some commentary, given the nature of the nominee, and I'd like to ask to speak on the nomination.
Senator, we've debated these two nominees twice.
Mr. Chairman, I would also like to speak on the nomination.
I understand what you'd like to do, but I'm saying that in fairness, we have debated these nominees twice, and I ask the clerk to call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, you're denying us an opportunity to speak on a nominee?
Man. I mean, okay, do this.
We don't have a right to speak under the rules?
Under the third time, I'd say no.
So you're just going to make it up?
So, yeah.
I'd like to
There's going to be a lot of consequences coming here.
You're going
to have a lot of consequences coming if you go down this road.
You better
I've cautioned you. I've cautioned a lot of you.
The clerk will call the roll.
Listen to me. I've cautioned a lot of you.
What is happening?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, don't we get the opportunity to speak?
We're in a roll call.
So you're telling us to shut up?
Even though multiple
You
members
want
have
us
asked to
to
speak?
shut up? Is that what you're saying?
A lot of people didn't speak on the two nominees before.
We've done.
Did you raise your hand if you did not speak?
I did not have a.
Didn't have a chance to speak.
Senator Blackburn had a chance to speak.
We've got several folks, Mr. Chairman, who didn't have a chance to speak.
We want to tell you again why these nominees are awful.
We want to tell you
Or in Senator
again.
Horton's case, tell you for the first time. You're just going to sit there and ignore us?
Senator Blackburn, have you spoken on these nominees?
I've not had the opportunity to
to?
speak. I would like very much to speak on Mr.
Mr. Chairman,
Kassabai.
I urge you to let Senator Blackburn speak.
Senator Corden as well. Senator Corden hasn't had a chance to speak.
That's correct.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You can't limit debate without invoking Rule 4. You haven't done that.
We have debated.
We've debated on prior occasions when we didn't have a quorum. That vote didn't count.
What is even going on?
We got people who are here now who weren't here then who would like to speak.
Can we speak on the other nominees?
Or is your plan?
Can I talk? No, God damn it, I said no. That's like all that he would say. Like, I want to talk. You already had your turn. Well, I want to talk again. Fuck you.
Just to end all debate today. Is your plan to end all debate? Do you have an answer? You're going to rely on someone whispering in your ear. What's your plan?
No.
No, we're not. Okay, listen, here's the deal. We worked 7 weeks to trying to solution the asylum problems. You boycotted the committee.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you've left us any alternative but to deny the committee a quorum. I think that's something we ought to seriously consider.
tell you what,
Mr. Cotton says the chairman needs to rethink his decision and let Senator Cornyn and Senator Blackburn speak. That's what Mr. Cotton says. You can mark that down as my vote.
Yeah.
Everybody over there who's not willing to look at me or look at Dick Durbin needs to think about it as well. Mr. Kennedy wants to speak as well. Mark Mr. Cotton down saying Mr. Kennedy needs to speak too.
I'm waiting to be heard on the nominee.
I mean, at this point, obviously they just stalling, but it's like at this point, just let the procedure go through. Like, what do you like? Shut up.
I've requested several times to be heard on the nominee.
But no, I guess Senator Durbin is not going to allow women to speak either. I thought that was sacrosanct in your party.
Aye. The nomination will be favorably reported to the floor. Up next is Judge Yumi Lee, nominated to the U.S. District Court for the...
Mr. Chairman, who has not been allowed to speak on that nominee?
Mr. Chairman, you just destroyed one of the most important committees in the United States Senate.
Chair would note,
and you set a precedent, which will be repeated every time one party or the other takes advantage and takes the low road.
Chair will note
It sets
I mean, Republicans can just never say anything like this ever. Like you can't. Like, what do you? This is all y'all do. What are you talking about? All y'all do is things that the majority of people don't want y'all to do.
That's a precedent that will then become the norm. Congratulations on destroying the United States.
It's nominations to like some type of committee or something.
Judiciary committee.
up next is Judge Yumi Lee, nominated to the
Judicial nominations.
U.S. District Court for the Northern
Who
District
has
of
not
California.
spoken on this nominee?
Clerk will call the roll.
Will you raise your hand? Look at all these people have never said a word before you make them vote. Never said a word before you make them vote.
Just going
Merrick Garland.
along with it.
Like, I mean, what?
Going along with it.
You know, when
Mr.
we were in
Coons
the
said he would
majority,
allow members to speak.
Mr. Chairman, when we were in the majority, we allowed Democrats to speak ad nauseum, at great length. We never did this.
Both of these nominees have had 2 opportunities for speeches by members.
They're just trying to, I mean, they're just trying to find something to whine and complain about so they can pretend like it's so unfair. That's all this is. And I mean, they're not even saying anything. It's like, I mean, if y'all really that passionate, then just talk. You feel me? Like if y'all just sitting there making noise, but if you really got something to say, y'all talking anyway, you making noise anyway. So say what you got to say, but they don't have anything to say. Because if they did, they would just be saying it. Like, look, listen, if I'm somewhere, if I'm willing to speak over my time, then I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Like, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Like, but they don't have anything. They ain't got shit. You feel me? Hold on, where we at now? Hold on. Let me see what's up with this real quick. We may or may not opening this up, but I'm not gonna pay for a subscription for this. Scoot. Hold up. One more try. Okay, I don't know what the hell this is. Never mind. On to, what is this? Now just random clips from the debate between Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis last night.
You talk about things to apologize. You should apologize for your COVID record. You were with Fauci. You aligned with vaccines. You aligned with CDC guidelines until you didn't, and tens of thousands of people.
Let's return our focus to education.
Well, when we opened the schools, we bucked all of those people June of 2020. He kept the schools closed for a long time, and that had devastating impacts. And why? What Gavin Newsom does in California is kowtow to the teachers union. Whatever they tell him to do, he does. He will never balk the teachers union. That's why the kids were locked out of school for so long. Joe Biden is in the pocket of the teachers union, and so is Kamala Harris. That's why they fought school openings when he came in there.
It's Kamala
when they had
Harris,
that in
Ron.
there.
It's Kamala
Biden came
Harris,
into office
Madam
and he
Vice
brought in
President.
teacher.
He says, "Shame on you." Shame on you. My man's Ron DeSantis in there with his wizard boots. You know what I'm saying? Don't hate on the wizard boots. Hold on. Now we back to George Santos real quick. He said, "Shame on you." Right. He said, "Fuck the teachers unions." All right. George Santos has a 5-word response to being expelled from Congress. What might that be? That be To hell with this place. There we go. That's what he had to say. To hell with this place. The 5-word response from Mr. George Santos. He made history today. Yeah, man. He gonna be all right. He gonna serve his time. He gonna earn his street cred. And he gonna come back out and he gonna be a mega celebrity. This is what he was born to do. All right. What is this? Brandon Williams. Caught on camera. He's a congressman. New York congressman Brandon Williams. Caught on camera. Threatening former staffer. I'll end every relationship you have. What did he say?
I think every relationship you have, every single thing. You understand me? You understand me? You think I don't know?
I have no clue what he's talking about. What is he even talking about? Hold on, let's see. He says something about his family. What did he do to his family? Hold on, I'm skimming through it. All right, so the congressman just got into office this year in January of this year. Okay, so apparently he said that the staffer was like being a creep to his wife or something. I don't know if it really happened, but if it actually did happen, then I mean, like, if he actually did some creepy shit, then I can't really blame him for doing that. But who knows? I have no clue. Either he actually did it or this dude is like crazy, but I don't know. I mean, maybe he did. Because he was not having it. He was not having it. I don't know. Again, like I said, if he did do something like that was super, super crazy, then I guess, but who knows? I just wanted to see what it was because I right-clicked it from the website, but I don't know. Okay, hold on. Let's see. More from the debate last night. Newsom asked DeSantis, when are you going to drop out and at least give Nikki Haley a shot to take down Donald Trump?
The communist Chinese, they have nationals buying up thousands of acres of ranch land, farmland, and land near military installations. Their hostility towards Taiwan. They are, Governor DeSantis, our #1 geopolitical foe. I don't see that the Biden administration has been tough with them. What would you do differently?
Well, first, in Florida, we banned China from buying land in our state because you're right. You don't want them buying farmland or land near military bases. So we acted. We also got the Confucius Institutes out of our universities. China should not be involved in our universities at all. What you need to do is you need to have hard power in the Indo-Pacific to deter China's ambitions. You need to take the economy and we need to decouple from China. We're dependent on them for so many things. And then finally, we need to get serious about their influence in this country. They shouldn't be able to buy farmland anywhere. I can tell you this, I would not go to China and grovel in front of Xi like Gavin Newsom did. He says China's a partner on climate change. China's adding 2 new coal plants every year. China's laughing at us with what they're doing. So yes, they're the #1 threat we face, and we need to take it seriously. And Joe Biden is not doing that.
This is just a reminder. I think it's a question some people are probably asking. I know Nikki Haley's campaign is asking, when are you going to drop out and at least give Nikki Haley a shot to take down Donald Trump in this nomination? She laid you out. You're a walking hypocrite. You're a walking hypocrite on the issue of China. This is the guy that was looking for direct foreign trade from China, was doing trade shows, open up an awesome.
That's already been debunked. And you talk about the
true.
liberal fact checkers. Even the liberal fact checkers
Donald
did
Trump
that,
himself today called you Red Ron for a reason, because of your complete hypocrisy.
All right, we're almost out of time.
Talking a big game. I confronted Xi on the issue of fentanyl, Ron. I confronted them
on human rights. You didn't.
I absolutely did, with the foreign minister and the vice president and other leaders in China. You talk a big game. Meanwhile,
why did Ron, what was the point of Ron DeSantis doing this? I don't get it. Like, why? What for? What? Like, he gained absolutely nothing from doing that. I don't get it. Like, what the hell were you thinking, bruh? He wasn't thinking, I guess, or maybe he was. He's just not good at the shit. He just ain't got it. All right, we got more from Mr. Santee, George Santee. Last minute allegations against Santos led to expulsion. Was it that when he sent it out talking about the Republican congressman who he said the Santos campaign defrauded him and his wife, and then he said he knew of like 400 other people that did it, on top of all the other mess surrounding George Santos.
Thing that you think made the difference?
Gavin Newsom had everything to gain doing that debate last night, but Ron DeSantis, I don't know why. I mean, like, why? Like, bro, you're running for president, not against Gavin Newsom right now, and you're not good at this shit. Like, Gavin Newsom got, definitely gained from it, regardless. Even if people think he gave a boring performance, whatever. Ron DeSantis is just losing.
That's true. And yesterday I'd have bet it the number would have been 150 voting for expulsion. And today the number was about 105, I believe, and 112 voting to keep him here. But, one of the members came forward yesterday at the end of the talk, and then today came forward and put out the email for those who may not understood of where he was coming from, and explained that not only he but his mother were ripped off by this campaign. And so when you start ripping off other members, if that's not enough to convince people that maybe you shouldn't be here, well, then I don't know what it's going to take.
Are you talking about your Ohio colleague, Max Miller, that his statement you think made the difference there?
Correct. And I'd have guessed that we were dropping from 150 to about 80 or so, 70. And I think Max's last minute email to all the members determined the outcome.
I mean, I don't know about all that. I think that's an easy scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? I think it's easy for them to say that the last minute emails and stuff like that. But I don't really quite buy that. You feel me? I think they just got rid of him because it made sense to get rid of him, because George Santos is a fucking weirdo. And it's not even that he's a weirdo. It's like he frauded his way into the United States Congress, and so that's why they really got him out of here. Distracted Gardner, hello, was popping. And yes, I felt that the title was quite fitting. I didn't quite know what to call it. I didn't, some days I'm like, oh damn, I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to call the stream today, because we stream so much. But it's a good problem to have. And right now, that's what we do. Right now, this is what we do. All right. But yes, George Santos, he was gonna be gone. You feel me? Like, he was always gonna be up out of here. Now, more from the debate. Sean Hannity says, I'm not a potted plant here.
Cover up. Again, hold on. For the most extreme abortion ban in the country. I have a simple question, though. This is important.
No. I'm asking the question.
Ron DeSantis, will you or will you not sign a 6-week ban in the unlikely case you become president of the United States? Would you sign a national ban?
Let's talk about your
he won't
state.
Answer that. He's getting saved
you had 15
on that
weeks.
fundamental question.
You had a 15-week rule in California. You reduced it to 6. My question is this. What was your thinking behind it? Was it for religious reasons? Was it for scientific reasons? What was the reason for you from going from 15 weeks to 6 weeks?
Well, I believe in a culture of life. I think we're better off when everybody counts, when everybody has an opportunity to do well. And that bill attaches when there's a detectable heartbeat for the child. And some states have done that. Some states have done others. Some states have done later. And obviously, they have a right to do that. But I think about one of our Floridians, a lady named Penny Hopper. She actually survived a late-term abortion back in the day. And they left her on the table there to basically wither away. Her grandmother came, saved her, brought her to a hospital, saved her, and she ended up living a good life. So she counts and she matters. And I think that what the position that we have from the modern left, including in California, is that they will take your tax dollars and they will fund abortion all the way to the moment of birth. He's wrong when he says the later terms are all because of this.
I can't, like, bro, like the reversal of Roe v. Wade is going to keep Republicans bleeding votes for years. And again, they can't just reverse it. And so many of these red states put in these bans after the reversal of Roe. It's like, bro, like Republicans have to talk about this now. They're forced to talk about it. And you know that a whole lot of them don't want to talk about it because it's not popular and it's not going to be popular. The stance of taking abortion rights away from women and just society in general is never going to be a popular stance ever. But now all of them are forced to talk about it. And all Democrats have to do, I mean, they got to do more than this, but just saying like, hey, we're protecting your abortion rights. That's going to keep getting people to show up to the polls. Like, it's just such a terrible political decision.
It's 88.
And they spent decades moving in that direction. They had decades to be like, maybe we should just get over it. But they couldn't do it.
Percent past 15 weeks are in fact elective from the Florida data. He doesn't keep data there, but that is really extreme to take your tax dollars and to do this all the way up to the moment of birth. He didn't answer your question about any type of protections at all for a baby that has a beating heart, that can feel pain, that is viable.
But respectfully, this is an important conversation. Will you or will you not support
you didn't
a
answer,
national?
Sean.
Ron,
Why didn't you answer
or will
his
you
question?
not support
Why didn't
a
you
national
support?
ban if it lands on your desk? You couldn't answer that in any other context.
Okay,
answer it
gentlemen,
tonight. It's a
we're
simple
moving
yes, no.
on to
By
the
way,
next
hey,
issue.
no, Sean, not a
You
next
never
issue.
gave a
The
week.
American people should know this.
And Democrats can do exactly what he's doing right now. You know, be like, screw it. Nope. We're protecting abortion rights. We're protecting abortion rights. Like, it's all like, you know, man, the reversal of Roe was such a bad decision. It was such a bad decision that they didn't make overnight. They did not make that shit overnight, man. So many resources and so much time and effort was put into making that happen. Now they losing elections and they're going to keep losing elections.
I'll answer it for Ron DeSantis. He can't answer it. He will sign that extreme 6-week
let me move
national
on.
ban. American people should know that.
I'm calling this the lightning round. It would be great if you guys cooperated. I'm not a potted plant here.
Good.
And I want to ask you, we all know that federal policy does have a huge impact on states. We know that. I'm going to ask you 3 simple.
Yeah, I don't. Again, Gavin Newsom gained everything from doing the debate last night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like he just he can't help himself. He can't help himself but to make things worse. Okay, now let's see what's up. One more from George Santos. Boop. Again, I'm gonna be on the power panel this evening on the first hour at 6 o'clock Eastern time. And after this stream, I'm gonna take me a nap and then eat and then get ready. Let's see what's up. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Abby Phillip, rather. Sorry. Abby Phillip breaks down why George Santos's poor man's Donald Trump impression didn't win over his fellow Republicans. I mean, let's see what she has to say, but I don't even think it's really that complicated. It's just that, well, let's see what she has to say.
That was really interesting, that sort of made my ears perk up a little bit, was when he said that Santos was trying to use the Trump playbook, the politics of victimhood here, and that it didn't work. Does that maybe say something about where politics might be headed, or the limits, at least, of that kind of strategy? Abby, you first.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly the limits of it. I mean, it was a poor man's Donald Trump impression in some ways. He tried to sort of just mimic it to a point where it was almost, it was so transparent, and that is one of the reasons I think that it probably didn't work. But the strategy wasn't just about victimhood. It was also just about never stopping to talk. I mean, this morning, George Santos was on Fox News hours before this vote. It's hard for me to understand how that would be seen as helpful. He doubled down at exactly the wrong moment. He, in an interview with Maharaju just a couple of weeks ago, was caught basically in lies that were then laid out in the ethics committee report. This is part of the problem with Santos, part of the problem for those more than 100 Republican members who voted for this expulsion. He was a completely...
I mean, Donald Trump was decades in the making too. You feel me? Like, so, I mean, that's the difference. People had years and years and years to attach themselves to Donald Trump and what have you. George Santos is just a young man who bursted on the scene like this. Like, so it's not. But yeah, George Santos is quite the character. Quite the character indeed. Hold on. Now, some mayoral candidate went around a neighborhood with a big ass gun or some shit like. I overreacted. Former Memphis mayoral candidate remorseful after he struck terror in neighborhood with assault rifle. Like, bro, like America's obsession with guns is so like ridiculous. I open carried. People freaked out. I don't blame them. It's a quote from former Memphis mayoral candidate Derek Wynn, 34, who was detained by Memphis police for walking through his neighborhood with an assault-style rifle. The Tennessee man, who only received 57 votes during the 57 votes during the election, said he was being stalked on his regular walking route to work and wanted to protect himself. Instead, I'm gonna walk around the neighborhood with this big ass gun. Like, you can do that. You can do that in this country. I mean, you can't just do whatever you want, because I mean he got in trouble for it, but just like I'm gonna walk around with this big ass gun, like, bro, like it's not that serious. Oh God. All right, we got 2 more videos, and then I'm going to get some rest in before I get ready for the show. Maggie Haberman. Maggie Haberman says new Trump bombshell significant because everyone he spoke to told him keeping docs is a crime. And this is why he loses in court, man.
Documents case, Maggie, you've reported that a second Trump attorney has now told the special counsel Jack Smith they also warned Trump.
Oh no, we certainly have not heard the last of George Santos. We ain't never gonna hear the last of George Santos. I'm telling you, he made it. He made it now. He may have to pay a small price, but he made it.
That not complying with a subpoena for the classified materials would be a crime. How big of a deal is this?
Look, it's significant in the sense that this could speak to Trump's state of mind. It could speak to consciousness of guilt. ABC was the first to report this. We confirmed the reporting with some additional material. The reality is that several people, several lawyers in Trump's orbit, but including these 2, Evan Corcoran and Jennifer Little, warned him that you had to comply with a subpoena. He was, seeking opinions from a number of people. He, as he often does, tries to look for someone who is going to tell him what he wants to hear. Everyone he spoke to, at least from that group, said you must comply, and we know what happened after that.
Bro, Donald Trump he's gonna get convicted, man. Come on. I mean, come on. Like, why would Donald Trump not get convicted of when he got all these felonies, man? I mean, like, on top of the fact that he makes it so easy to convict because he can't stop attacking everybody who's in a position to convict him. Like, he's so stupid. He's so dumb. Like, why would anybody look at that and be like, oh, I don't know. I don't like, bruh, like, he's so dumb. He doesn't have to be in this position at all. He had 1.5 years to give those documents back. Like, bruh, he's just an idiot. All right, now we have John Fetterman asking Menendez to step down, and I agree. I think Bob Menendez, Democratic senator from the state that I live in now, New Jersey, I think he should step down. I mean, like, come on, bro, you got caught up in some crazy shit, and you know, like, come on.
And we are back with Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania. My cousins just wrote me from Pennsylvania and said, we voted for you. We really like him. So,
thank you.
You might have heard that Congress just expelled George Santos.
Yeah, Santos.
Yeah, and you've also been calling to get rid of Menendez, I know. But first, before we talk about that, what's your reaction to the expulsion?
Well, it's like I'm not surprised, but to me, I think the more important picture is that we have a colleague in the Senate that actually did much more sinister and serious kinds of things. Senator Menendez, he needs to go. And if you are going to expel Santos, how can you allow to somebody like Menendez to remain in the Senate? And Santos's kind of lies were almost funny, and like he landed on the moon and that kind of stuff. Whereas I think Menendez, I think, is really a senator for Egypt, not New Jersey. So I really think he needs to go. And especially, it's kind of strange that if Santos is not allowed to remain in the House, someone like that. Yeah.
Are you, though, uncomfortable with the fact that there hasn't been an adjudication, that while he's been charged, there hasn't been a conviction? With Menendez.
I am. And it's like he has the right for his day in court and all that, but he doesn't have the right to have those kind of.
Michael Beam, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. He said, character sliding on the floor on his knees saying, "Go!" I wish I could see that in live full time. I got to get on another software backend program so I can see everything better in another way. But thank you so much for the $20 super chat, Michael Beam. And thank you, everybody, for rocking with me, not just this week, but as long as you have. And everything is coming along beautifully.
Votes and things that that's not a right, and I think we need to make that kind of decision to send him out.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Bob Menendez got caught up in some rather serious corruption, and it's not even that it's serious corruption; it's like under the table corruption. Like, bro, corruption is legal in this country. There's no need for you to do all this having gold bars stuffed in your suit coat. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, who do you think you are? You goddamn, like, what is this? What's that movie called? What's that? Yeah, baby, yeah. What's that movie? I can't think of it. Like, bro, like, who the hell you think you is? Some James Bond villain type shit. Like, what is going on, bro? But yeah, I mean, it's like, for Bob Menendez, I think he's like 70 or something, or he's up there. And I'm just saying that to say it's not like he's at the beginning of his career. He's not. He's been there, done that. And there's no reason for him to, I mean, sure, defend yourself in court, but like, go ahead and drop out of this, resign rather. I'm sorry. Go ahead and resign. Especially another reason, politically speaking, is a lot of what Democrats are running on in the 2024 election is how big of a corrupt criminal Donald Trump is. So it's just, it makes Bob Menendez look, rather full of himself for him to be like, no, I'm not going to resign. Like, dude, get the fuck out of here, man. Yes, Austin Powers. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Michael Beam, I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. And I'll be posting videos from the streams with this like software program that'll just make it easier for people to catch up with stuff. But yeah, nah, man, it's like, what's the name? Bob Menendez, go ahead and drop out. But yes, thank y'all so much for joining me. I'm about to take me a quick little nap, and then I'm gonna get some food in my belly, and then after that, I'm gonna be on the power panel this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. Catch me. Here we go. Let's take this hit. I got some dreams that I really hope to see, but I pray to God I'm blowing weed every day, can't you see, baby girl, I got a lot of shit on my mind. I'm moving forward, yeah, I gotta press forward, no, I can't live in the past, cause I can't rewind. Yeah, I ain't trying to crash, I've been living fast, lately I've been moving slow, trying to take my time. I ain't got wings on, but I'm ready to fly. All right, everybody. Woo. Thank you again. I love and appreciate you all. I will catch you later on the Power Panel, and then I will catch you tomorrow for Saturday morning cartoons.